Hi Fad Campers, it's Grace here and I have some new stand updates I'd love to tell you about. If you're based in the UK, I will be doing some dates in July and August and I'd love to see some of you there. I'll be in Leeds doing a work in progress with Amy Annette on July 4th in the Hyde Park Book Club. I'll be in Brighton on July 6th with Alison Spittle in the Comedia Comedy Club, and I'm going to be doing my own work in progress show in Glasgow on July 12th at Good Egg Comedy. Also then I will be at the Edinburgh Fringe, of course, for the entirety of August, from July 30th to August 24th. I'll be at the Assembly George's Square at the Crate, 10 to 3 every day. Would love if you could tell anyone you know who's going to be at the Edinburgh Fringe to come see my show. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. We'd like to take a moment to tell you about our sponsor, Anchor.
Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast.
It's free.
There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more.
You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Now, let's get to the show.
My name is Grace Mulvey. I'm a comedian, human woman, and lifelong fad dieter. From the moment I walked out of my mother's womb, I've been on a diet. That's 31 years of no carbs, no sugar, and no crack. It's time to say enough already. Now, I'm not saying I'm a nirvana of self-love and acceptance, by the way, but I am saying that I'm no longer willing to spend all of my time, money, and energy on fad diets.
And I'm Conor Dowling, writer, filmmaker, and world-class warrior. Years of fitness models, crotch fiends, and get thin quick schemes have melted my brain and left me overweight and unimpressed. I've wasted years of my life obsessed with what I eat and how I look. So now I finally know what's making me feel like crap all these years. Fad diets.
We are not health experts. I repeat, we are not health experts. We are just here to talk about and laugh at our experiences of bullshit diets.
Disclaimer, please, whatever you do, don't hurt yourself with any of these crazy weight loss topics we discuss in the show. This podcast won't make you thin, but it might make you laugh. Welcome to Fad Camp.
Okay, so this week's episode, Connor, we decided to go on a bit of a different track because up until now we've basically been discussing diets, food, everything like that. But this time we decided to focus a little bit on the exercise part of it, because you can have, part of fad dieting is actually also fad exercises, fad exercise trends, all this sort of stuff. And one of the biggest ones of the last few years, and I don't think any person can say they haven't heard about this exercise trend, is CrossFit. It's just become huge in the last few years, particularly in Ireland. It just exploded. There was just like CrossFit gyms everywhere.
Exactly. I just remember driving around a few years ago and every gym would have a CrossFit banner, or CrossFit would be worked into the name in some way. You know, and I think there's still a lot of gyms around Dublin that still have that like name worked into their own banner.
And one thing about a CrossFit gym is straight away, you know, that's expensive. Like, as in a membership there is going to be incredibly expensive. And we'll go into a little more later because I basically did CrossFit. So I kind of pitched this episode idea. I was a member of a CrossFit gym a while back. The price of it is going to shock you, Connor, but we'll go into that a little bit later. Before we kind of get into all that, let's just talk a little bit about what CrossFit is. Because I actually think, although a lot of people have heard about CrossFit, they might know exactly what it entails and why it was its own kind of basic like gym trend.
What makes it different from just working out, right?
Yeah. So CrossFit is a branded fitness regime created by Greg Glassman, who, by the way, is an absolute character. It is a registered trademark of CrossFit Inc., which was founded by Glassman and Lauren Jenny in 2000. I think that's his ex-wife now. Greg Glassman, he's a former gymnast himself and personal trainer who has described himself as a rabid libertarian.
Okay.
First red flag. The very first CrossFit workouts were... Oh, yeah, this is a fun fact, actually. The very first CrossFit workouts were done for a sheriff's department in Santa Cruz. The department got wind of Glassman's exercise mentality and called him up to train officers. And actually, still to this day, they do have quite a link with the military and policemen in terms of like their kind of like, I don't know, what they kind of offer and what they name things after.
So CrossFit CrossFit is promoted as both a physical exercise philosophy and a competitive fitness sport, incorporating elements from high-intensity interval training, Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, gymnastics, and other exercises. It is practiced by members of thousands of affiliated gyms, roughly half of which are located in the United States. Surprise, surprise. CrossFit has been criticised for allegedly causing people to suffer from unnecessary injuries and exertional rhabdomyolysis, a possible life-threatening breakdown of muscle from extreme exertion. It's a mouthful that you don't want. And any affiliation for trainers requires an application process with an essay and a yearly fee, plus instructors complete training courses.
I really want to know what the essay would be. as in like, I like training. I like lifting things. I like putting things down. Like, what
How
exactly?
to get turned by Conor Dowling.
I'd love if it was like, please provide a dissertation of Sylvia Plath's poetry, and you're like, what? I just want to train. Like, I don't understand.
Ever since the days of our ancestors, people have been doing burpees in order to stay fit to hunt those deadly tigers. I imagine a lot of them start like that. So CrossFit workouts typically combine explosive exercises done in a circuit format, so also known as circuit training. One exercise follows right after the next with very little rest in between. Each session can be as short as 5 to 15 minutes, which is one of the attractive things for anyone who's like, you know, trying to lose weight but doesn't want to spend their life in the gym.
Yeah.
The main CrossFit exercises involve the whole body and include pushing, pulling, running, rowing, and squatting. And my God, there is a lot of different types of squats that we can get into.
Stop.
Who knew there were so many ways to squat?
Yeah, I know.
I can think of like 2.
No, they really find, like, fair play to the exercise industry. They've really found a way of working those muscles in your legs, you know?
Yeah, a phone book full of squats. There are hundreds of CrossFit exercises. Here are a few examples: power cleans, burpees, thrusters, and the snatch, which needs no further explanation.
Yeah, the snatch sounds like what's that
Guy Ritchie,
Roddy Doyle book?
Oh, the Snapper.
The Snapper. Yeah, the Snatch sounds like this weird follow-up book that never got published by Roddy Doyle. The Snatch actually genuinely brings horrors back to me from my time in CrossFit. It really was one of the worst exercises.
Can't wait to hear about it.
Seriously. So in terms of philanthropy, they call, by the way, these CrossFit affiliated gyms boxes, as in like the head of CrossFit would call them boxes. So he'd be like, okay, oh, there's thousands of boxes around the world. They do have like philanthropic arms of their organisation. They do an annual Memorial Day Murph and Barbells for Boobs, which is for breast cancer, but also my favourite name for the name of a charity, Barbells for Boobs.
Well, I'm glad you said it.
Thrusters for tits.
Snatch for your snatch.
CrossFit's official fundraising arm, CrossFit for Hope, funnels 100% of the donations to fighting childhood cancer, providing education in Kenya and other charitable ventures. So, you know.
Oh, well, I can't make a joke about that.
You could try.
Well, I won't. Some controversy now. On June 4th, 2014, CrossFit uploaded a parody video to their Facebook page of Jesus, featuring concepts such as the Holy Trinity of exercise. Yasmin Havitz wrote in the Huffington Post that some viewers are outraged at the disrespectful use of a Christian symbol, with one user asking, on what planet is it comical or encouraged to mock someone's beliefs? Yeah,
they're really not going to want to go to.
Absolutely never do that. We would never do that.
No, I'd never. Oh, God, no. Never.
God, never take the Lord's name in vain. Jesus.
Ooh, Jesus Christ, no.
Conor fucking Dowling, no. In June 2018, CrossFit fired its chief knowledge officer, Russell Berger, which is a great name for someone who works in fitness.
Yes.
After Berger disparaged the LGBT community on Twitter. Berger's tweet followed the closure. Please don't make me read his tweet because then I'll join him in the cancellation group. But Berger's tweet followed the closure of a CrossFit location in Indianapolis due to the backlash it faced after cancelling a special LGBT Pride Month workout. Berger wrote on Twitter, what was it? Okay. As someone who personally believes celebrating Pride is a sin. What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, these are not my words, but this is Berger said Pride is a sin, and he'd like to personally encourage hashtag CrossFit infiltrate for standing by their convictions, and refusing to host an at Indie Pride workout. This is a long tweet. The intolerance of the LGBTQ ideology toward any alternative views is mind-blowing. The tweet triggered angry responses, understandably, denouncing Berger as a bigot and pressuring CEO Glassman for him to be fired. Berger was first placed on unpaid leave, but was later fired by Glassman, who publicly condemned Berger.
So essentially this like CrossFit gym we're trying to do. So like CrossFit do these workouts, right? And they're usually named after women or, as we'll find out later, like military officers who died in combat.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so they were trying to do one called like, I think, Indie Pride. So it's just basically for Pride Month, just a little workout. And because he thinks Pride is a sin, which I'm going to say he might be hiding.
Pride is a sin.
Yeah, which might be hiding behind, something else.
Yeah.
He was happy that this CrossFit gym wouldn't do it. And they, by the way, this CrossFit gym in Indianapolis had to close down because there was such uproar in the fact that they were refusing to do it. It's such a small thing. My God, like, do you know what I mean? Like what a weird thing to die on a hill for. But this isn't the only thing. These are kind of like the first few things about CrossFit that sort of started a bit of controversy. But the big one happened this year, actually. And I think a few people might have heard of it. On June 6, 2020, the founder of CrossFit, Greg Glassman, tweeted, "It's Floyd 19. Okay?
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
In response to a tweet from the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation at the University of Washington that states that racism and discrimination are critical public health issues that demand an urgent response. So his reply to that tweet was, "It's Floyd 19. Glassman's tweet was widely panned. Many CrossFit-affiliated gyms around the world responded by ending their affiliation, which is a huge thing. And Reebok also announced they will end their corporate association with CrossFit. They sponsored the CrossFit Games. Glassman also hosted a criticised Zoom call with CrossFit gym owners where he propounded conspiracy theories about COVID-19 and claimed that George Floyd had been killed as part of an elaborate cover-up of counterfeiting unrelated to racism. On June 9th, 2020, Glassman resigned as CEO, then 2 weeks later announced that he put the company up for sale.
What I would not give to have been on that Zoom call. I mean,
stop.
Oh, could you imagine? That would have been entertaining, if not cringy. And, these guys are all breaking the golden rule. Like, never mix politics with getting a sweet six-pack. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to keep your beliefs outside of the gym, bro.
Never shit where you work out. That's where I always say.
Come on.
If you're going to get shredded, don't get shredded over your political beliefs. Like
Twitter.
On Twitter, like completely. It's such once again, this man who, like, CrossFit, we're going to talk about it more, is really like almost like a religion to some people. Like, it really is. When you get into CrossFit gyms, you'll find that there's this huge community. It's a real sort of like it actually, when you talk to people who start CrossFit, it's actually like they're almost talking about like Scientology or something. Like, they're like, they get really invested in the people, the lifestyle. It's a whole thing. So it's their whole thing is pushing inclusivity and, bringing people together. So this really weird thing that the head of the company would have these sort of like heads of the company would have like odd views on LGBTQ or racism, like even why would you respond to that by saying Floyd 19? It's such a weird thing. And then also
it's a kamikaze, like it's torpedoing your entire company, whether that's your crazy ass belief or not. It's like, who would be, if you're trying to keep, making money, it doesn't make sense, like, even on that level. And like, this all sounds so recent as well. Obviously, we're talking COVID, we're talking,
June 2020, yeah.
And
also, what a bad time to try and sell a gym company.
A gym, when all the gyms are closing, closing their doors.
I know, it's mad. So CrossFit, I joined CrossFit at a very kind of like odd time in my life. I was just out of college. It was around, once again, I was like, kind of doing loads of unpaid internships and things like that. And I was really, that after college period of your life where you're sometimes just trying to find your people, and because you've gone from that real nice cocoon of college and you don't really know what's going on. Listen, there's more sitcoms out there about it than you can name. CrossFit, I was like, I just saw these gyms pop up, and I just was like, God, this must be like the new thing to do. So I joined, and like very quickly got like really involved in it and everything like that. But it is like a complete lifestyle. Like people who are really into CrossFit are there all the time. Like I remember coming to the gym and just being like, do you live here? Like, these are people with jobs, with kids, like and their kids would be there. Like it was like a whole family thing. Oh yeah, it was just, and their
That's
kids
got to be a health hazard.
Yeah, I know. Everyone did the paleo diet, which we're going to talk about in a bit. That was like, every single person there seemed to be on the paleo diet. It was the thing to do. Basically, it was like you signed up and you paid a minimum per month, as per most gyms, but you did classes. So you'd have to book in for classes. I would be doing very early morning classes. There's a huge thing about strength in CrossFit. It really is like all pushed on strength. As we said, like they do high intensity training, so HIIT training, but with strength in between it. Their workouts were insanely intense. Insane. About also, like, I have to say, it was very nice in the way when I joined, 60% of CrossFit members are women. It was the first time I ever was a part of anything where there was more women really there than men. I can't even explain how that was, but it really was. They really do push you. They have like personal bests. You'd arrive to a class and you'd never know what you're doing. So bar, like, I know that once a week you have to do like Olympic weightlifting. So I'm like
with zero like thought on technique or like preparation. It's like, and off you go, squat a mountain.
Do you know what I have to say, right? That was one thing I noticed when I joined the CrossFit. You did have an introductory thing, but bar that, you really would go into classes and like, it was like you were there with very experienced people, and they'd be like, right, do the snatch, which was like pull this
like
massive,
a fun dance.
do the spaghetti. Everybody, and you're like, snatch. What? do the mashed potato, and you're like, what the fuck is the mashed potato? But
I do remember that about joining in. It's almost like a Zumba class or something like that. It's like, oh, it's just fun for everyone follow along, but you're like doing this like life-threatening like moves that your body probably shouldn't even be doing in the first place.
Definitely. I think, maybe, sometimes they asked, is there anyone new here? But actually most of the time they didn't. I do remember every so often just being like, hey, can you show me what the hell I'm doing? And like, even before, say, you put weights on something, you'd be talking about a 15 kilo bar that you're like bending down to pick up, very quickly snatching up and like squatting and then putting over your head. And you'd have to do what they would do. They'd be like, do that like 15 times as quickly as you can in the next 2 minutes. So you'd be like, oh, in the next 2 minutes, I have to get as many of them done as possible. So it wasn't even like just technique. It was also speed. So these things were it was just incredibly intense, right? I remember coming in one time and I was on the juice fast off, like, on a film.
No, are you serious?
This is around the time of the juice fast. I came
Diets colliding.
This
is like worlds colliding right here. Oh my God.
I, once again, kind of looked like a flipping jellyfish because I was so bloody translucent from all the juices. Came in and I had to do 100 burpees. When I say I nearly passed out, one of the trainers came over to me and was like, I just sort of said like, oh, I'm just finding it a bit hard today. And he goes, okay. And he's like, have you eaten? And I, what he really meant was, have you eaten a paleo muffin or whatever? And I was like, no. But like, I was like, I'm on a juice fast. And his face dropped. Like he was like, we would not recommend that you do a juice fast and do this, which he's totally right. But what's so funny to me about diet culture is you have people on one side saying juice fasts are the best thing since sliced bread, and they're
which
the
you're
only,
not allowed to have.
Sorry. And they're the only way forward. And then you go into this other, also claiming to be equally healthy place like CrossFit, and they're like, oh, we would recommend the paleo diet, which is a paleolithic diet.
Those juice cleanses are so crazy and extreme. Now, quick, let's do 100 burpees without stopping.
That's what I mean. It's so true, isn't it? It's like, oh, and now do like 50 snatches in a minute. And you're like, what? Like, anyway.
Don't know what a snatch is? Doesn't matter.
You got one on you, babes. But one time, I'll never forget this, right? I was in a class and it was one of the kind of Olympic weightlifting classes. And this is the class where you'd be looking to do your personal best. So what that meant is it wouldn't be about trying to do as many reps. It would be more about trying to get as heavy a weight in a rep, right? I was spotting this woman. Now, once again, spotting was not exactly explained to me in the sense that I was like, they were like, oh, well, if she gets into trouble, you help her. Now, this woman...
Oh, no.
Was very slight, and the weight she was lifting, like, fair play to her, she was squatting, like she was doing a back squat, so she had the bar across her shoulders, right? And then she was squatting down and standing up. I can't quite remember, but I remember I think she put 90 on.
Oh my God.
As in for her personal best. She started at 60. I think I remember that. And then she worked up. And then she was getting to 90, right? So that was an incredible weight. And like that's like a fully grown
man.
Yeah, exactly.
That she's lifting like a fireman lift, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure she's done it emotionally in relationships, but she hasn't quite done it physically yet. So I'm really happy with that joke. So she went to do that, right? And I was just standing there fucking petrified because like there's only 2 trainers per class. So the trainers were off helping loads of other people. Anyway, she squatted down. And then she tried to get back up. She almost fell.
No.
And she went, I can't get up. Help me. And I was like, and what you're meant to do is you're meant to just let go of the weight. But the way she was holding it, if she let go too quickly, it would have snapped her fingers back. So she was afraid to let go. She didn't know quite how to get out of this.
Oh, I know what you mean, yeah.
So then she was like, help. And I just didn't know what to do because I was like, I can't lift that weight. Like, I'm spotting you, but I can't do anything about this. Like, I can't take this off you. So then I was really new. And I just, help. Like, I was sort of like, help, excuse me. Like, I was too timid at the time. When now I'd just be like, like, help her. So I just, excuse me. And then she just eventually fell backwards and let the thing go back. But she was shouting at me. She was like, get someone, like, do something. And I was like, I just panicked.
Oh, no.
And I just was like, God, like, they let me, this newbie who, like, fucking didn't know anything, basically spot a woman who was, like, going for a personal best. Like, I just remember now looking back, I'm like, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. Like, I definitely should not have been in charge of looking after someone else there.
And that woman never walked again.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, she died. Oh, sorry.
On the spot.
Anyway.
On the spot. Her personal best was also her final workout.
Her personal best was the best she was ever going to do because, unfortunately, no. She didn't make it. I also haven't even gotten onto the cost yet. So they were really pushing the paleo diet. I do remember that. Very quickly, I'm just going to mention the paleo diet. The paleo diet or caveman diet or Stone Age diet, as it's also been known, is a
famous for their long lifespans.
Famous for their long lives. Everyone knows that someone from the Paleolithic time, I mean, they got to 30, but I mean, what a full 30 years. We should definitely be.
The ripe old age of 30.
Yeah, which is, I'm 31. So it's a modern fad diet consisting of foods thought to mirror those eaten during the Paleolithic era. It's basically following a diet similar to our ancestors before the invention of fast food or before humans even began farming grains. So that's another thing. They don't eat grains or anything like that.
Before the invention of fast food in 200 AD.
Yeah, exactly.
McDonald's.
Yeah. Fast food actually probably was when Jesus was like the loaves to fishes very quickly. That's fast food.
Jesus turned a loaf of bread and fish into a load of fish fillets. Basically.
Yeah, and that then, of course, was the first McDonald's. The diet avoids processed food and typically includes vegetables, fruits, nuts, roots, and meat. Meat's huge. And excludes dairy products, grains, sugar, legumes, processed oil, salt, and alcohol. So, like, it's a real fun ride, this diet. There's loads of, like, it started in the 70s. There was a book about the Stone Age diet, and it's become, like, I don't know about you, but, like, do you remember this was the thing? This was the diet a few years ago. Everyone was doing paleo.
That book in the 70s that you're talking about, that is the book that is responsible for this modern idea that our, thousands of years ago, ancestors were all into meat. They ate loads of meat.
Yeah.
You know, all the women were off eating twigs and berries and all the men were all hunting meat. And because one dude wrote this book in the 70s and was like, yeah, they
Which
probably...
is called the Stone Age diet, yeah.
Yeah. And they probably ate just like loads of like meat and that was like totally awesome. And now everyone's like, well, you know, that's what our ancestors did. It's like, yeah, our ancestors also didn't see their 30th birthdays. Yeah. Because they were all crammed full of meat.
You know, they also had really high, really high mortality rate when it came to like giving birth. Like, I'm not saying that we should maybe do everything that they did back then. I'm sure they had some great ideas. I love fire. Like, you know what I mean? Like fire. No one can argue. Keep the fire. Maybe dump the diet that they did. Also, I'm like, it's like when someone goes, in my day, we had to walk 40 miles. It's like, well, that's great. But now we've come up with this public transport system that's much better. And I'm frankly delighted. Like, I don't think we all need to walk 40 miles a day. But,
and they definitely weren't burping or snatching or pulling or whatever they called it. You know
exactly.
What I mean? They kind of fucking burping.
They didn't.
Burps.
They sort of didn't. Yeah. Why are you so obsessed with burpees? Did you have some issue with a burpee?
Now it's time for Burpee Corner with Conor Dowling and Grace Mulvey.
A burpee killed my family. But anyway, that's the sort of diet that they would be like mad for avocados, like a big push for avocados, which has caused the kind of avocado craze of the last few years as well.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Yeah, that became a huge thing. But that's the kind of the diet that they were pushing. Really into like your meats, and dairy was a huge no-no. Grains were a big no-no. Like it was, there's actually, and there's a big pushback now because a lot of the athletes that are in CrossFit need a lot more carbohydrates than the paleo diet could give them.
Oh God, yeah.
But it was that type of diet where, you know, for a really long time there, avocados have become such a big thing. They were like, oh, have you tried the avocado mousse, the chocolate mousse, where you put like a little bit of cocoa powder in an avocado? Don't do it. There's much nicer things to eat in life. But, you know, every day, and I would notice as well in the CrossFit thing, they had their own like social society in the gym.
Okay. Yeah.
I never became that involved in it. I actually found the whole I always think like I have friends outside of this. I don't want to, like, no offense, like I'm not being rude, but like I love a workout, but I'm not gonna, like I go there and like there'd be people hanging out there for hours eating paleo banana muffins. And
that's, you know what? That's when the kind of phenomenon of cafes started springing up in all these gyms. You know that when you go to these gyms and there's like one person who is absolutely not trained in working in a cafe is like making people smoothies and like serving people you know, avocado nuts or whatever the hell the thing is. And that's where
also the massive thing for alternative milks came from. That's the paleo.
Because the paleo they don't do dairy.
Yeah, they don't do dairy. So like the oat milk, coconut, you know, anything like that. Yeah, even though they kind of like, because nuts are a huge thing. So any kind of almond
massive
milk, all
nuts.
that sort of stuff. Yeah, massive nuts in there. But yeah, and also I remember there was like a CrossFit Christmas party that I didn't go to because I was.
That sounds so depressing.
It's so depressing because I didn't know what they were going to drink. Like, could I get wasted on almonds? Like I kind of couldn't, like, you know, and not that you have to get wasted, but I enjoy drink and like.
They might have had eggnog that was just all eggs. Because you know they were mad for their eggs, right?
Those eggs paleos are huge. Yeah, exactly. I suppose, yeah, it was a really odd time. Like, you go in, you wouldn't know what you were actually going in for, which was a huge thing. So you could be going in for maybe a light exercise, but other times you were completely unprepared for the fact that you were going in for an incredibly tough exercise. Another thing I also have a huge issue with any exercise thing, I don't know if I've mentioned it before, is if you're a woman that no one talks to you about where you are in your cycle. So you could be booking in to go do an Olympic weightlifting class, which you kind of had to do once a week, right? And they'd never go, because by the way, women, I can't remember the names of the cycles, there's like a lateral stage and something else, but if you're 2 weeks before your period, you're in a phase where I think you lose something like 27% of your strength. You're much weaker. It's just the way your body's working.
Because your body's diverting that energy to other processes in your reproductive system.
Yeah, it's getting ready for no baby to be in there in my case. But you know what I mean? For others, it might be like, oh, your egg's preparing for, you know,
that baby's going to be jacked though.
That baby is going to be ripped. But do you know what I mean? Your body is just going through a certain process. Like, they never mentioned that. They never asked that. And I always find that that thing kind of funny because, CrossFit is 60% women. Where was that knowledge of someone going like, okay, you need to do your personal best. Oh, you're not reaching your personal best. No one would ever turn around to you and go, where are you in your cycle? Like,
there should be a personal best and a period best. So the best you can do when you're in your
period.
Your PB.
If you are on your period around this time, I just think they should give you a bunch of plates that you can go outside and smash, and it'll be your personal best of how many plates you can smash. Like, that's
probably burn some calories doing that. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
Bit of exercise,
Rage burns a lot of calories. Rage burns a lot of calories, in my opinion. But yeah, like things like that where, I was like, CrossFit was so, they seem to know so much about how to build muscle and all this. And yet something as basic as 60% of your client base, you didn't ask them as something that actually really matters when it comes to their strength. Like, as much, women and men, their bodies work differently. Do you know what I mean? So that I found really unusual. But anyway.
But just in your head, like, how does that work? Like, because I'm assuming that, are they going? They're not going to. You don't want them to announce that at the start of the class, right? You don't want them to be like, okay, hands up, who has a period. But you could just be like,
Well, when it comes to like, say, a personal best. So personal best is a really big thing, which is you are trying to.
And is this being tracked? Is this being written down on the board?
Yeah.
Okay,
and you would track it
you.
yourself. Like I think got to like 60 kg, 70 kg with a back squat because my legs. I have the legs of a Herculean athlete, but I just have a lot of strength in my legs, right? So watch out, guys. I'll kick the shit. No, I'm joking. But you know what I mean? Like, I remember that really clearly, my personal best, because I remember the day that I was able to do it. So you would track that yourself, but they'd only do that at certain times. Like, you wouldn't do that every week because, like, you're building that strength up through repetition and stuff. So then you'd have that one day, maybe it was like, I think it was every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, that they'd be like, right, we're having a personal best session.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And like, there'd only be, once again, you have to book into these classes. So there's only so many people in your class and there's like 2 trainers. You can go, the trainers, if there's some reason why you can't reach your personal best, I have no problem with a trainer who, by the way, isn't announcing it in front of a class. Like, there might be 2 people to a bar. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a very small class. So like, you're not talking about them announcing it to 50 people. But actually, I also do have a thing about the fact that periods should be something that are much more widely discussed in terms of, like, particularly with exercise. Like, there shouldn't be an issue with your trainer coming up to you and going, and so they don't have to announce it on they don't have to have a megaphone, do you know what I mean, for some reason, and being like, sorry, but we need a period.
That'd be fun,
chat.
Though. That'd be more fun.
Yeah. And there's like a red light for the period. If someone has a period, a red light goes off in the gym. But you know what I mean? Like, there shouldn't be anything wrong with your trainer coming up and go, sorry, I just wonder where you are in your cycle. Like, because if you're in the first 2 weeks of your cycle, your body will be functioning as normal and you should be able to hit your personal best. If you're in the last 2 weeks, your body isn't functioning as normal because it's coming up to your, like, a certain stage in your cycle where you're preparing for your period, basically. So, you know what I mean? Like, you don't even need to say the word period if it makes you uncomfortable, but you can be like, oh, I'm in like this stage, or actually I'm just finished, so I should be fine, or I'm coming up to it in a week's time. Like, that is, if you are paying the money, which I'm going to tell you now how much I was paying a month for this sort of thing, particularly I don't think we had a female trainer, we had all male trainers. It really bothers me that this isn't a thing that personal trainers or trainers in CrossFit gyms or just in general talk about. You have female clients, you should know this. The body is, like, you know what I mean? Like, there are differences between the body of men and women. This should be one of the things that you know about. You know?
Absolutely. And it sounds like it was kind of created by a couple of dudes, you know. So that probably wasn't top of their priority. Hi, I'm Keith Duffy from Ireland's #1 boy band sensation of beautiful boys, Boyzone, and founder of Tireland Talent. But I'm here today to tell you about a way you can get rid of unwanted tires. No, we're not doing a trade-in special here in the garage, but we have started a new health and fitness venture in me ma's back garden. See, I'm not talking about the literal tyres on your car. I'm talking about the figurative tyres around your waist composed of unsightly abdominal fat. How are we going to shave those extra few pounds off, you might ask? Easy. Introducing the latest breakthrough in sports science and fat loss wizardry, CrossFit training. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Keith, hasn't CrossFit been around for years? And will you record a birthday message for me ma or girlfriend on Instagram stories? But the truth is, this is Ireland, and we get everything years after the Yanks do. So if it's new to me, it's new to science, and hence the world of health and fitness magic. And yes, I will record that birthday message for your ma or girlfriend on Instagram stories for the right price. So come down to my CrossFit gym on the Long Mile Road beside Maxall and train with me for a reason. Let the reason be love handles. Keith Duffy or any member of the Boys Zone Gym will not be making any appearances at the Men's Zone Gym, and any weight loss from working out in the vicinity of Keith Duffy will result in a lawsuit and restraining order. Grace, tell me, what kind of money are we talking here?
Oh, I always feel so embarrassed when it comes to this part about how much money these
This
things
is a
cost.
safe place. This is a safe place to share our financial mistakes.
I like, it won't go beyond us except for the podcast of people listening.
Yes.
The monthly, and I was on, I think, the lowest, which was 3 classes a week. Okay, I'm pretty sure from my memory it was 3 classes a week.
Yeah.
€170 a month.
Oh, holy Conor Dowling. Oh my God. That is a shocking amount. 170 a month. Like, where's this money coming from? And you said, was this when you left college, was it?
So I had left college. I was doing the juice fast. I would be able to pay a certain amount, and then my parents would pay the rest. An incredibly privileged thing to do.
That's fair enough. I get that. That is okay. And like, yeah, geez, don't feel any shame over it because we've all been there. It's just 170 a month, like 170 a year for a gym. To me, that's a lot. You know what I mean? And you know what else about these CrossFit gyms? It's not as if they're kitted out with all the equipment. Half of the exercises are bloody bodyweight exercises that you could potentially do at home. So obviously you're paying for the trainers, you're paying for the rent of the building, and then you're lining the pockets of these like radical libertarians. You know, so
radical libertarians. Floyd, I paid for Floyd 19 is what I bloody paid for. I didn't do it for a long time. The money became an issue. It was an issue. I couldn't pay it all myself. At that time, and I will really say this, I was in the height of disordered eating. The height of I had a huge, where you can't see yourself properly. What's it called? Dysmorphia, body dysmorphia. I was had just come out of motivation, which I will talk about in another episode, but that had really messed me up in many ways. And I was like just looking, I couldn't understand. My body was in this real weird phase where it was like it didn't know what was going on. It was like in sort of starvation mode where it wouldn't lose any more weight regardless of what I did. So I thought if I changed my body composition, it would make everything better. You know, a lot of people have this mind frame. All they're focused on is their appearance, and they think if they can get their appearance under control, everything else will be fine. So CrossFit really, as a sort of like, and it is a kind of like this all-encompassing gym, you know what I mean? I'm not saying don't do it, you know what I mean? Like, it's great, but I found that it was perfect for my mentality at that time, which was I wanted something all-encompassing. Now looking back, like, yeah, I liked it and it was fun. A lot of people find many friendships there. It just was, I found it once again very narrowing, a very narrow way of thinking about health. Like the fact that it was like paleo. And I was like, I didn't really want to get into this paleo thing because I was like already had been on such a restrictive diet before that I kind of wanted to just focus on, you know, maybe getting a bit, you know, a bit stronger. I was probably by far the biggest person there at the time, and I'd say I was a size 12 at that time.
Did you find, is there a big kind of like, or at least for you, was there like a big aesthetic side to it as well? That, you know, the people who are going there, they're very firm, they're toned, you know, there's all these videos of people squatting and showing off their behinds and all that, like, you know, and all the workout gear, and it's all very kind of like, you're showcasing, you know, your physique as opposed to just, I'm going to try to get my fitness up.
I could kind of tell there was some other people like me who were just sort of like, we just kind of want to get a bit fit.
Yeah.
But a majority of them were, and like the best workout gear. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Like, and they had the CrossFit runners, which we'll talk about in a second now, like runners that are just for weightlifting, which, by the way, on the first day were mentioned to me, you're going to need special runners. That is also another
Jesus.
thing that might piss me off, considering I'm spending so much money on this. The whole thing, we've talked about it before, this investment thing.
Yes.
This whole thing of like, oh, well, you're investing in this, so you might as well invest another 90 quid on runners. And you're like, this
There's always
is
an upsell.
There's always an upsell. Yeah.
I'm already spending 170 quid a month.
Yeah.
And on the first day, you're going, oh, here's another bloody 90
Yeah.
quid you're going to have to spend every couple of months when we bring out a new pair of shoes that are better than the last pair or whatever.
Absolutely. And there was also a thing about resistance bands. So like there's a huge thing when you're doing workouts for resistance bands. Like say, my big thing, I always wanted to be able to do a pull-up. I still have not been able to do a pull-up in my life.
One day we will do a pull-up, Grace.
Oh, yeah.
We will lift
I will
each
pull
other
up myself and all my emotional baggage. That's what I'll
Yes.
pull up. But they have resistance bands. But they provide them to you, but they're like, it's probably better if you buy one yourself. And I just was like, no. Like, I refuse to buy anything else on top of what I'm spending here. And that was all the, all that sort of stuff. It just goes on everywhere. But it really annoys me when you're paying really top dollar. I'm like, just give me a resistance band. Like, provide me with one on my first day if I'm spending this much money. It was like, because I really love exercise. I'm such an exercise person. I love strength training. And actually, one thing during this whole pandemic is I've really missed strength training. I haven't been able to do it. Because there's just certain things you can't buy from home, or you don't want to have taken up space in your house. But like I'm just very wary of ever, like even personal trainers. I'm done with that part. It's you feel like you're throwing money at something,
I have a whole I could do a TED talk on my experience with personal trainers, so we can do it.
We're doing another episode on it. Yeah.
I had a bit of a weird experience with CrossFit. I don't think when I got involved with it, I was aware that it did have this kind of cult, kind of franchise kind of thing, because I weirdly won one of those Facebook share and comment and like things, share and comment and like our post for an 8-week ab transformation package or whatever. And at
those
this time,
things were so popular a few years ago. Like they were everywhere. Now I don't think you're allowed to do them anymore. I think actually they've taken that away. Yeah,
interesting, because I weirdly won one of them, and it wasn't really advertised as a CrossFit, but like the exercises and the style, it was probably, I'd say there's just a lot of guys out there with small gyms that are like doing their own kind of like brand of CrossFit. And of course, with that promise of like getting like, the 6-pack in 6 to 8 weeks is, an attractive thing, for anyone, particularly for guys. And I remember doing it, and it's, the big problem for me is like, you're coming to this with whatever level of fitness you have. So let's say you're coming to it and you might not be the fittest person in the world. You've got a lot of extra weight to lose, and your like cardio fitness or your strength wouldn't be that high. And then on like day one, you're doing these like, fucking Superman crunches and crucifixion planks and all of this mad stuff that, you get through it on the day. You know what I mean? You force your body through it on the day, but then you're like crippled for the rest of the week. And how are you supposed to go back? And even if you do go back, you just do the same thing again. So you're just like putting your body into some kind of like shock. And I just remember the workouts being so overly complicated, and I think the reason for that is so they can like quote unquote engage the entire body and all of your muscle groups. So like, for example, if you're doing a burpee, you're jumping up in the air and then going down and crawling into a push position, then doing a push up and then crawling back up and then jumping up again. And it just feels like it's almost like a child came up with these workouts to go like, oh, what would be really crazy to do that's going to get your whole body in shape? And like these things of like kettlebell swings where you're like, squatting down and like snatching up a kettlebell like over your head like really fast. It's just, and you're going into it with like no training. It's so dangerous. And
I felt that for the first beginners, it's not really these gyms as well. I also always think like from the outside, how welcoming do you think you are to people who aren't like gym literate? Because gyms can be incredibly intimidating places.
Definitely.
Particularly a weight section. I think many people will realise they go into a weight section. And can I just say to many of the men out there, and I'm going to say it's men, who make those noises when they drop the weights, right? I have carried some heavy weights.
What do they sound like?
Like, they're like, ah, ah. Like, I'm always like
I was going to do an Al Pacino.
Good morning, Vietnam. Like, they're just sort of
hooah, hooah.
But they're like this really guttural noise. And I always think, I have dropped many weights so many times. I've never had to make that noise. That noise is
you're doing it wrong, Grace.
Yeah,
you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. That noise is really intimidating to other people around you. And like these guys I feel like, I'm like, oh, do you own this gym? Because you act like you do. And like,
bro, I totally owned the gym yesterday.
But it's but like then like you can come in and you're like, you feel like, oh, I shouldn't be here. Like I shouldn't be allowed to be here. And that's kind of why also they've created women's only weight sections. Because like sometimes you can go into weight sections and you feel like there's like 20 lads around you. And you're one woman just like kind of picking up a 5K, just doing a few bicep curls, maybe doing a plank. And there's these guys like, huh, huh. And you're like, are we in the military? I didn't realise.
Huh. It's a fun noise to
morning,
make.
Vietnam. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm starting to understand why they do it. It's so fun. I know what you mean. And now, to be fair, Grace, 5 kg weight, that's a lot for me now. So, like, I mean, you know, fair play to you for, you know, lifting in the big leagues.
Well, okay, so listen, I want to talk, like that, thank you, but I think, I don't think it's that big of a weight. But, like, I'm not putting you down, Connor. But I would love to sort of make these, like, very female sounding noises if I was doing like weights, like be like ah! As I drop a weight and just see what the lads do, like just really loud like ah! Like that sort of weird noise, and see if any of them react like, oh, that's normal, like the noise you're just making.
It might be encouraged, which is very worrying.
Definitely. Okay, so just a few bits about the actual CrossFit workouts, right? A little education here. So a lot of the CrossFit workouts are named after women. Glassman's alleged explanation for the naming scheme is, I thought that anything that left you flat on your back, looking up at the sky and asking what just happened to me, deserved a female's name. Oh, workouts are like storms. They wreak havoc on towns.
The town being the person doing the workout, I guess.
Yeah. So you're okay with wreaking havoc on people. So there's loads of different ones. The Fran is one of the most famous. The Angie, the Helen, the Glen workout of the day is, I think, named after a military serviceman. But the Fran,
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Of a country we're not in. But the Fran is like 21, 15, 9. So those are reps. So the first round you do 21 reps, next round 15, next round 9.
Sure.
The first is thrusters, okay, which are 95 or 65 lb, so pounds, okay?
Yeah.
What are thrusters? Basically, they're well-known exercises. It's a combination of a front squat and an overhead press. So you'd have the bar over your shoulders at first. You're kind of holding it up with your hands laid back on your shoulders, really. You squat
and you're
down.
Standing up? You're
standing up. You squat down your front, and then when you stand up, you do it. You push it over your head. Then you do pull-ups after that. So you're doing like 21, 15, 9 of them. Okay. There's also the hero workouts. They're all named after naval officers, army sergeants, SEALs, and other soldiers killed in combat. One is named after Michael Murphy. It's known as the Murph. He was 29. He was killed in Afghanistan, 2005. So this workout consists of a 1 mile run, followed by 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, and topped off with a final mile run.
This is madness. Like, and can I ask you, when you were doing your CrossFit classes, did they have the thing where they're named after women and army officers?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't know that. Like, as in, they'd just be like, right, like today, like this is the Angie, right? Just okay, and this one's for time. So you have to do... and you'd have to do it within that song. They'd play the song and you have to get this all done within it.
Which is also a very kind of like mellow, downbeat kind of song. So it's really just messing with your brain.
Really messing with your head. Oh, 100 pull-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 100 air squats.
I'm sorry, but 100 pull-ups, like, I mean, some of the top
Yeah.
fitness people cannot do 100 pull-ups. Is it that you're trying to make it to 100 pull-ups, or what's happening here?
So for time would mean that you were trying to beat your time before. So it would be like, I'm going to do 100 pull-ups and I'm going to try and do it. Say if I did it last time in 20 minutes or whatever, I'm going to try and do it in under that. But like these things could take an incredible amount of time. Sometimes it's like 38 minutes, sometimes it's 40 minutes.
So if it's like, it takes you a week to do those 100 pull-ups, it's like, you know, they'll be turning off the lights, the janitor's mopping the floor around you, you're like, 3!
Connor, I feel like that's what happened to you with a burpee or something. You have such an issue with a burpee. I can imagine, like, you would have hated the one which was the 100 burpees. I'll never forget the day I had to do 100 burpees.
Not possible. I mean, it is, but it's crazy.
But I also just think it's like, how good is that for you? Like, how good is it really to do 100 burpees realistically for your body? And this is another thing that comes into, so we mentioned before that one of the cons of CrossFit is some of the injuries people get.
Yes.
Obviously, doing this kind of strenuous training is going to cause an injury. One thing, you mentioned it before, you said it better than I'm going to say it now, which was rhabdomyolysis. Can you say it? What is it?
Rhabdomyolysis.
Rhabdomyolysis. Thank you, Dr. Conor. So this is one of the side effects that has come out of CrossFit, and it can actually be lethal. So CrossFit have an unofficial and disturbing mascot called Uncle Rhabdo. Rhabdo.
This is something I've never heard of before. What the hell is happening?
Thank you. My research was deep. That sounds dirty. I'm really sorry. It was extensive.
She went deep. We don't really do mascots in Ireland. You know what I mean? Like, unless it's like a packet of Tato crisps or something like that.
I worked in Build-A-Bear for like 3 years after college, and I had to dress up as the mascot. One thing they don't tell you, you're not allowed to talk when you're a mascot. So we used to have hand signals of when we get too hot. So we had to go back into the shop. I think it was like literally looking at the person who was with you and just waving really quickly.
Okay.
But you couldn't talk. Basically, there was one time where our mascot and Hanley's, the toy shop mascot, were out at the same time, and Hanley's mascot fainted. They had to drag them back in.
That's wonderful. I can't believe I'm only finding this out about you now.
I know.
Mr. Tato spotted me when I was in a deadlifting competition once, but that's the closest I can get to any of that mascot stuff.
Is that a joke?
No, it's not true.
What?
I wish it was true.
Oh my God, Conor, I so wish it was true. Okay, so Uncle Rhabdo is a cartoon commonly referenced in CrossFit literature. He's a clown, basically, and the cartoon depicts an exhausted yet well-muscled clown connected to a dialysis machine standing next to some workout equipment.
Wait. He's connected to a dialysis machine?
His kidney has fallen out and lies on the floor underneath him, along with a portion of his bowel. He's left a pool of blood on the floor below him.
Portion of his bowel?
Yeah. He's left a pool of blood.
That's so upsetting. I'm sorry, but that's so upsetting.
He's left a pool of blood on the floor below him, but it's not clear if it's from the disembowelment or the kidney's arterial supply. Basically, this is meant to represent rhabdomyolysis. I'm pronouncing that really well. So it's essentially that CrossFit have an unofficial mascot, which they're aware that this thing can happen, and it's sort of to say, well, you're taking it in your own hands if you're going to do this, right? Basically, under extreme conditions, what this means, this condition is, under extreme conditions, your muscle cells explode, they die. They leach protein out of the bloodstream, including one form called myoglobin. Your kidneys take up the job of clearing up the dangerous proteins from the blood. Unfortunately, the myoglobin proteins aren't designed to be in the blood in the first place, and they can easily overload the kidney. This can produce injury or death to all or part of the kidney in a short amount of time, and potentially can be lethal. Basically, the muscles are left damaged or dying, and they won't heal in the same way. That your muscles will never be the same again. They won't like go back to the kind of same place that they started from. It can basically, if it's not lethal, it can also be just a serious amount of trouble for you. As early as 2005, the New York Times documented that this was associated with the culture of CrossFit in a piece called "Getting Fit Even If It Kills You," and it had a gem of a quote which I just had to use, which was so
they just picked one person. Yet 6 months later, Mr. Anderson, a former Army Ranger, was back in the gym performing the very exercise that nearly killed him. I see pushing my body to the point where muscles destroy themselves as a huge benefit of CrossFit, he said. What does CrossFit's founder, Greg Glassman, think of this? It can kill you, he said. I've always been completely honest about that.
So hardcore, dude. So hardcore.
So hardcore, man. Yeah, and they had another quote of basically a writer who talked about why I quit CrossFit, and they said, if you ask a CrossFit coach, the injuries were all my fault. In a culture that drives you to go as hard and fast as possible, it's difficult not to get caught up in the hype. You're supposed to push yourself to the limit, but when you hit the limit and the price you pay, you're an idiot who went too far.
So it's your fault.
Yeah. Like most fad diets.
Oh,
of
totally.
any
It's
kind,
all within the user.
It's always your fault, no matter what you were sold in the first place. It was just an interesting thing to me that was a side effect. Now, obviously, it's not that I never suffered from anything like that. I don't know anyone who did, but the fact that it can lead to that, and the thing about CrossFit is it is such a culture that I can see
so
that
competitive.
happening. I can see that
it's so
happening
competitive that the symptoms are probably not only diminished when you are showing those kind of symptoms, but they're probably encouraged. It's like, oh, dude, I can't lift. I couldn't move my arms after the workout yesterday. Awesome, let's go back to the gym.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's all well and good if you're like trying to be a bodybuilder or like compete in a competition or whatever, and you have like a team and a coach and all that. But if you're just like an average person who's like shelling out their money to do these things, it's so dangerous.
And also, listen, like, I'm spending 170 quid a month on this. So like, even if I am feeling fatigued, I'm like, well, I better get my money's worth. I mean, I'm paying for it. Like,
True.
I might as well be in on it. And also, I mean, I will say this, like, I mentioned that everyone was kitted out in the best stuff. I always wore like, I just wore like hoodies and, I was never decked out in the best stuff. I did feel like I kind of needed to prove that I wanted to be there, or that I deserved to be there around people who seemed to me, it's like everyone knew each other. And I was like, oh, like I should try and get in on this sort of thing.
Yeah, you're like an outsider.
Yeah, but they were like, I mean, they were very nice people in there. I will not say that. Like, everyone
were
was
they
extremely
though?
Lovely. But like 100 burpees. Come on now.
That's
burpees,
not very nice people. 100 burpees.
Burpees killed my family. So we have our bullshit diet news of the week. This one has caused a lot of controversy online and in the Twitter sphere. It's really annoyed me because I always thought the thing we're about to talk about was healthy. Right. Subway sandwiches contain too much sugar to be legally considered bread. The Irish Supreme Court rules.
And everything is now different.
Everything's different.
Everything's changed.
It's
the new normal.
Everything's changed.
The new normal. The world where Subway bread is no longer bread.
It's like, I could get used to the pandemic. I could get used to the masks. But I cannot get used to this. I refuse to accept this. The Supreme Court today, the Irish Supreme Court, ruled that sandwiches made by Subway contain too much sugar to be legally considered bread. The ruling today arose from an appeal from Bookfinders Ltd, a Subway franchise, which claimed that it should not have to pay VAT as many products it sells are staple foods, and should attract a 0% VAT rate. So it's all about VAT. But the five-judge court ruled that the sandwiches must attract a rate of VAT due to its sugar content. So it can't be a staple food or a staple fuel. Devastating. Devastating because Subway has always been a chain where people have pushed that it's healthy. And by the way, like, also from gigging, I would also always have gone, like, say if I was out about 10, I'm like, I'll go get a Subway sandwich, that's healthy. Like, I'll get, like, a plain chicken breast thing with no cheese, no crack, no fun. But you know what I mean? Like, just something that'll be a bit tasty.
And don't they even have the calories on the menu? Like in America, everywhere has calories on the menu, but in Ireland, not so much. But in Subway, they've got the calories up on the board. So you're going, oh, there's a low-cal version. Go for the 6-inch salad-filled thing. And little did we know, we were basically eating cake with our salads.
I should have just got the fudge and cake.
Yes.
I should have just gone and got some fucking carrot cake like I bloody well wanted. But instead I'm eating this shagging thing. Yeah.
Should have just gotten 2 donuts and put a slice of lettuce between the 2 of them and called it a burger, like, you know.
Yeah, yeah. But it is, like, Subway, by the way, have had some mad stuff going on the last few years in terms of, like, because they were, obviously, I don't want to bring up the pedophile in the room, but let's talk about their old, like, what's it called? Their spokesperson, Jared. Like, it's just been a weird few years for Subway. Yeah. And
they're the biggest fast food chain in the world. They're bigger than McDonald's. They have more stores around the world than even the likes of McDonald's, who you would think would be the top. But that's been a recent kind of like factoid that people have been sharing, because you wouldn't think it, you know. But then when you do think about it, you're like, every petrol station pretty much in Ireland, you know, and newsagents that have like turned their delis over to Subways. And there was this kind of like thought that, oh, well, it's not fast food, it's Subway, it is salad, it's meat, and it's, you know, how bad could it be? But yeah, apparently pretty bad.
Yeah, well, listen, devastating news. But I have always wondered why their very plain chicken breast sandwich tasted so good. And you know what, it's so funny, if we have any American listeners, hello, your bread is full of sugar. Anytime I have been in the States, I have noticed the difference between American bread and Irish bread, in the sense that I'm like, this bread is incredibly sweet that you get over in the States. Like, obviously
Wonder
it's
bread.
just the same sort of stuff. Wonder bread.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Fad Camp, brought to you by Grace Mulvey, Conor Dowling, and producer and sound engineer extraordinaire, Darren Lee.
With new episodes released every 2 weeks, you can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you choose to listen to your podcasts.
If you want to get in touch with the show, email us at fadcamppodcast@gmail.com, or find us on Instagram and Twitter at fadcamppodcast.